Someone in your life is controlling you right now, and the worst part, you are helping them do it. Not through force, not through threats, through something far more invisible. Something you have been trained your entire life not to see. They do not grab you. They do not command you. They simply reshape the way you think, the way you feel, the way you see yourself. And by the time you notice something is wrong, it is already too late. Stay with me, because in the next 15 minutes, I am going to show you 7 psychological tactics that people use to silently gain power over others. Tactics so precise, so deeply embedded in human behavior, that most people carry them to their graves without ever understanding what was done to them. But before we get there, I need to destroy something you believe about yourself. You believe you make your own choices. You believe you are logical. You believe that when someone tries to manipulate you, you will feel it. You will not. That is the first and most dangerous lie we tell ourselves. The human brain is not built for truth. It is built for comfort, for patterns, for belonging. And the people who understand this will always be 10 steps ahead of the people who do not. Machiavelli wrote this over 500 years ago. He understood that men are moved not by what is true, but by what they perceive to be true. The most powerful people in history were not the strongest. They were the ones who understood human psychology better than anyone else in the room. And here is the detail that changes everything. The tactics I am about to show you are not used only by villains. They are used by your boss, your partner, your best friend, people you trust, people you love. There is one tactic in particular, the 7th one, that I have saved for the end. It is the most subtle, the most common, and the most devastating. You will want to wait for it. Before we enter the 7 tactics, you need to understand one thing about the human mind. It has a fatal weakness. It cannot stand uncertainty. When we do not know where we stand, we look for signals. We look to other people. We look to our emotions. And in that moment of searching, we become vulnerable. We become open to suggestion. We become easy to steer. Think about the last time you walked into a room and felt unsure of yourself. Maybe a new job, a new relationship, a social event where you did not know anyone. In that moment, your guard was down. You were scanning for safety. And anyone who offered you certainty, approval, or belonging had instant access to your decision-making. That access is what skilled manipulators exploit, not once, consistently, systematically, over time. Few people realize this, but the mind that learns to see these patterns can never be captured by them again. Let us begin. The most powerful cage is the one you do not know you are in. This tactic does not happen in one conversation. It happens over weeks, months, sometimes years. It begins with something small, a comment about your choices, a subtle suggestion that you are overreacting, a gentle implication that your instincts cannot be trusted. Separately, each moment seems harmless, but together, they form a pattern. And the pattern always points in the same direction, away from your own voice, toward theirs. There was a woman, let us call her Elena, successful, confident, independent. Over the course of 2 years with a partner who used this tactic, she stopped trusting her own judgment. She stopped making decisions without his approval. She forgot who she was before him, not because he ever raised his voice, but because he consistently, quietly, made her feel that her perception of reality was unreliable. Psychologists call this gaslighting. But it is more than that. It is identity theft without a crime scene. And the next tactic builds directly on this one. Because once your identity is shaken, something else becomes very easy to take. Generosity is one of the most weaponized forces in human relationships. When someone does something for you, your brain does not register a gift. It registers a debt. This is called reciprocity bias, and it runs so deep in human psychology that it bypasses conscious thought entirely. You feel obligated before you even choose to. The skilled manipulator uses this deliberately. They give first, they give generously, they give without being asked. And then slowly, they start asking for things in return, things you would never have agreed to freely. But now you feel you owe them. Think about the colleague who always covers for you, always remembers your birthday, always has a kind word, until the day they ask you to do something unethical. And you feel paralyzed because how can you say no to someone who has been so good to you? This is not generosity. This is an investment strategy, but this is not even the most dangerous form of this tactic. There is something deeper happening that most people never notice. People who want power over you will sometimes make themselves appear powerless. This is one of the most counterintuitive tactics in the entire psychology of manipulation. When someone shares a deep secret with you, when they cry in front of you, when they reveal their wounds, your defenses fall. Because vulnerability, real or performed, triggers compassion. And compassion turns off your critical thinking. You stop analyzing. You start protecting. A leader who cries in a meeting creates intense loyalty. A partner who reveals past trauma early in a relationship accelerates emotional bonding before trust has actually been established. A salesperson who admits a flaw in their own product makes everything else they say seem credible. Pity and love operate on the same neurological pathway. And the person who makes you feel both at the same time holds enormous power over what you will do next. And what happens next is exactly what Tactic 4 is designed to control. Whoever controls the story controls the person. This tactic is not about lying. It is far more subtle. It is about framing, about which details get emphasized, which ones get omitted, which version of events becomes the official one. In history, governments have used this to control entire populations. But in everyday life, it operates in kitchens and boardrooms and bedrooms. Someone who consistently frames your successes as luck and your failures as character flaws is not giving you feedback. They are writing a story about who you are. And if you hear that story long enough, you will start to believe it. The same tactic is used to isolate you, to slowly make you feel that the people who care about you are actually threats, that your instincts are liabilities, that your independence is dangerous. Few people perceive this in real time. It only becomes clear in retrospect, years later, when they look back and realize they had been living inside someone else's story the entire time. But here is where the script flips. And this is the point I need you to remember. Everything I have told you so far has been about how others control you. But I need to stop and tell you something uncomfortable. You have used some of these tactics too. Not necessarily consciously, not necessarily maliciously. But at some point in your life, you have made yourself seem more vulnerable than you were. You have given a gift expecting something in return. You have shaped a story to make yourself look better or someone else look worse. This is not an accusation. It is a recognition. Because the human brain does not divide the world into manipulators and victims. We are all, at times, both. The question is whether we are doing it with awareness or without it. The most dangerous people are not the ones who use these tactics consciously. They are the ones who use them unconsciously, who genuinely believe they are acting with integrity, while systematically disempowering everyone around them. Now, let us finish the list, because tactics 5 and 6 lead directly into the 7th one, and the 7th one is unlike anything I have described so far. The most addictive drug in human psychology is not a substance. It is validation. When someone makes you feel seen, understood, special, your brain releases the same chemicals as a reward. You begin to associate that person with feeling good, and then slowly, they begin to withhold it. The praise becomes inconsistent. The warmth becomes unpredictable, and without realizing it, you begin to chase it. This is the engine behind almost every toxic relationship. The cycle of reward and withdrawal is not accidental. It is a mechanism, and once it is running, it is extraordinarily difficult to exit because your nervous system has been conditioned to keep trying. Think about the parent who only praised exceptional performance, the partner who was loving on some days and cold on others, the boss whose approval seemed always just out of reach. Each of them, intentionally or not, built a psychological architecture that kept you working for them. What happens after that, after you are already chasing approval, is when Tactic 6 enters the room. Power over someone increases exponentially when they have no one else to compare notes with. Isolation is rarely dramatic. It does not begin with you being cut off from your family overnight. It begins with small seeds of doubt. A comment about how your friend never really understood you. A suggestion that your family is too involved in your life. A pattern of creating conflict whenever you spend time with other people, so that eventually it becomes easier to stay. And then one day, you look around and realize that the only voice you are hearing regularly is theirs. And because you have no mirror, no outside perspective, no one to say, wait, that does not sound right, you accept their version of reality as the only one that exists. Napoleon knew this. Every great strategist in history knew this. Remove the advisors, control the information, and you control the decision. But none of this, none of the 6 tactics I have described, is as quietly devastating as what comes next. This is the one. The tactic that sits underneath all the others. The one that makes everything else invisible. The most sophisticated form of psychological control does not feel like control at all. It feels like freedom. It feels like clarity. It feels like finally knowing who you are and what you want. Because the person using this tactic does not tell you what to do. They engineer the conditions in which you will choose it yourself. They remove certain options quietly. They make certain feelings seem more natural. They position themselves as the voice of reason every time you are at a crossroads, until their preference becomes your conclusion, and you walk away feeling empowered, feeling like you made the right call, never suspecting that the decision had been designed long before you sat down to make it. This is not manipulation in the way we imagine it. This is architecture. This is the highest form of influence, and it is used in every corner of human experience, in advertising, in politics, in leadership, in love. The person who has mastered this does not push you. They build the hallway, and you walk down it believing it was your idea all along. Machiavelli was not a villain. He was a mirror. He showed the world what power actually looks like when you strip away the comfortable stories we tell ourselves about human nature. And what he saw was this. The person who understands the architecture of influence will always have more freedom than the person who does not. Not because they will use it to control others, but because they can finally see when it is being used on them. Awareness is not armor, but it is the first step toward it. The 7 tactics I showed you today are not the territory of monsters. They are the territory of the human mind under pressure, under ambition, under fear. Understanding them does not make you cynical. It makes you clear. And clarity, as Machiavelli understood, is the rarest form of power there is. Before you close this video, I want you to sit with one question, not for me, for yourself. Of the 7 tactics you just learned, which one have you experienced? And which one, if you are honest, have you used? You do not have to answer out loud, but notice what comes up when you ask. Because that discomfort, that recognition, is exactly the beginning of the kind of self-awareness that changes everything. If this video made you think, there is one below this that will go even deeper. The psychology of why we stay loyal to people who are hurting us. Watch it only if you are ready for the answer.